All right, guys, let's learn how to clean a bedroom. So these are going to be some task instructions, pro tips, time estimates, and that's for doing just a standard residential bedroom, right? So again, like the other ones, I tied in ChatGPT, it gave me time estimates. That's what these are based on. So if you're finding that just not enough time, let us know, let Jeannie know. She'll make sure and update that in the database so you have enough time, okay? So anyways, let's talk about making a bed, changing linens, right? The instructions will be to strip the old bedding, all right? Put on fresh, clean, fitted sheet, and then a flat sheet, and then pillowcases, right? Then you're gonna wanna smooth the blankets and fluff the pillows, and it just looks excellent. You know, if it wasn't for leaving chocolate on the pillow, we would leave chocolate on the pillow, but those can melt and turn into a big mess. So anyways, smooth the blankets out, fluff the pillows. Some pro tips would be tuck in the corners neatly, right? So learn how to actually make a bed where you tuck in the bottom and then you pull it around the side, tuck it in at the bottom, but leave it about halfway up. And that's gonna allow them to keep their feet warm at night, right? Align the pillows symmetrically, right? And so you don't wanna just throw them on the bed. Make sure there's pillows on both sides, right? And stack them up so they look kind of neat, right? Make sure and check for pet hair on bedding, right? If you see any, just get the vacuum out, get that stuff off of there, or let the customer know, okay? Then once it's clean and sanitary, you know, possibly flip it over, put it so the clean side is facing up, right? So the next thing you're gonna wanna do is dust the furniture, right? Before you dust the furniture, remember, go from top down. So you're gonna wanna get the ceiling fan if there's one. You're gonna wanna get the cobwebs from the edges. You're gonna wanna get the dust up on these, you know, ceiling fixtures. Get all that stuff. Gravity's gonna make it fall, okay? So when you're done with all that, go ahead and dust the furniture, right? So sometimes there's wood edges, sometimes you have a lamp that's got wood on it. You know, just make sure and look around. Now we have like an ostrich feather duster, okay? And these things are great because they're so easy to clean and they do a fantastic job, right? When you're dusting, you want all that stuff to fall down to the floor so that when you vacuum, you can vacuum up that dust you just dropped, right? Again, dusting furniture, ChatGPT says about 5 to 7 minutes, right? So you're gonna wanna use a microfiber cloth or duster to dust the surfaces, lamps, headboards. I found that the duster is a lot easier to use, right? So anyways, dust those surfaces, lamps, headboards, shelves, just look around, right? And look for dust. Go on a dust hunt, right? And get that out of there. That's really important. Again, work from top to bottom. These are pro tips. Okay, don't forget underneath the items underneath objects, right? And so let's say there's some knickknacks there. You want to, you know, dust the knickknacks, but move the knickknacks, dust underneath it, polish wood if there's, you know, if you're requested, and then, you know, and then put everything back, right? So next we're going to talk about cleaning mirrors and glass, right? So usually it's going to be mirrors that are part of some bigger unit. And so if you have any trouble whatsoever getting to it, it's on a vanity, if it's on a dresser or something like that, you know, don't risk your safety, all right? Don't risk breaking the glass. You can really get injured, right? So anyways, ChatGPT says 3 to 4 minutes. You're going to go around, you're going to spray some glass cleaner lightly. You're going to wipe it in a circular motion, and then you're going to buff it dry, right? To make it nice and streak free. Okay, some pro tips on this one. You know, check from side angles for missed spots, right? Look at the mirror from each direction, you know, that you can look at, you know, in. So, and then use a lint-free cloth or, you know, something like that to go ahead and, you know, get that mirror clean. All right. I like using a microfiber. It doesn't leave any lint. All right. Vacuum the floors, right? There's not many reasons in any scenarios that I can think of that are good to actually like sweep them, right? You want to vacuum them. You want to pull all that dust up into the vacuum before you mop, okay? The ChatGPT says it's going to take about 7 to 10 minutes, okay? Here's some instructions, okay? Vacuum the carpets or rugs inside the bedroom, right? Mop any hardwood floors that are there. And you want to get it really good because again, you can leave streaks. And so if you get a good method going, then, you know, there are streaks, which there shouldn't be. then at least it shows that you did it in a organized fashion, right? So always, look for those details, look for those opportunities to where even if you messed up, you can say, I didn't usually do it that way. So anyways, make sure and get under bed edges, get around corners. You don't need to get all the way under the bed, but do your best you can to try and make sure that it's clean under there so that if they don't have a bed skirt, then you could still walk by and it looks clean, okay? So some pro tips, right? So there's a crevice tool on your vacuum that you can use to get inside of edges so that you don't have to like scrape them out, right? Lift small rugs, and vacuum underneath them. These are the details that they love to see. So anyways, if there's trash bins or anything like that in the bedroom, go ahead and empty those out. It says it should take about 2 to 3 minutes, right? So just like with the bathrooms, you want to remove the old liner, spray and wipe the bin, and then replace the liner. And some pro tips again, keep some extra liners in the bottom of the bin. Double bag it if it's heavy, maybe they threw away, something heavy. You don't want it to burst and spill out all over the carpet. That's going to look really unprofessional. And, then I'm going to come in with the carpet cleaning van, and that's, not fun. Anyway, so you're going to want to dust the baseboards. I mean, be reasonable about it. You can't get behind a dresser. You can't get certain areas, but you can certainly get everywhere that you can see, okay? So make sure you get those, nice and dusted off. Pay attention to smudges. Wipe it with a damp cloth. Make sure you get them as clean as possible. Pay attention to behind furniture and stuff, right? If you can access it, then do it, right? Underneath windows, there's something called a windowsill, right? And those can get really dusty. Everybody always forgets them. Get that dust out of there. It's going to help them breathe. They're going to wake up in the morning nice and fresh and feel great, okay? So some pro tips, right? Use a magic eraser if there's marks on the baseboard. Again, those things are your friend. Use an angle duster to reach corners, okay? There's an attachment for the same tool that you use to get cobwebs out. Next thing we're going to do is spot wipe walls and doors, right? This is super quick, super easy. Takes about 3 to 5 minutes to do the whole room. And you just look for places where they put their hands that might be getting soiled and wipe those down, try and make it look new, right? So when you are, looking at a door, a lot of the time right around the handle, there's going to be some grime there. Get that out, clean it up, right? You should be there anyways, getting that handle clean, all right? So anyways, again, for this, you want to spray the cleaner onto the cloth. You don't want to spray it directly on. Wipe around the handles, wipe around light switches, disinfect the light switches. These sort of details really get noticed, okay? Again, magic eraser, heavy marks, get those off of there with that. Really, really easy. ChatGPT says, for that task, it said 2 to 3 minutes to get cobwebs. That sounds fair for one room. So average time to do a bedroom is 35 to 50 minutes, right? So if you're in a bedroom more than an hour, you're taking, too long for a standard bedroom. Now, if we're in some of these big mansions, it's different. If done thoroughly by one crew member, it should be able to be done, within that 30 to 50 minutes. With 2 crew members, about 20 to 30 minutes, okay? When it's split efficiently. Okay, so you got to make sure and work together in a way with continuity with each other, okay? Teamwork makes the dream work. Thanks.